Let's go Dolphins! Something big is happening in Miami, and no, it's not just a win over the Buccaneers. A rookie quarterback, drafted in the 7th round, is suddenly in the spotlight, and now the franchise's future may be at stake. Will this unexpected rise force management to rethink everything? And what about Mike McDaniel? Did this win really save his job, or just postpone the inevitable? But before we dive into what could be one of the most important crossroads in Dolphins history, click the like button if you're a true fan who bleeds aqua and orange. And if you've been following this team through the ups and downs for over 20 years, I want you to comment right now. Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds aqua and orange. Let's start with what's turning heads all across South Florida and beyond. Quinn Ewers, the former 7th round pick, just picked up his first NFL win as a starting quarterback, showing composure, timing, and legit flashes of arm talent that have Dolphins fans buzzing. His performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wasn't just decent, it was legitimately impressive. First career touchdowns? Check. Smart reads to Theo Wise Jr. and Greg Dulcich? Check. A calm presence in the pocket and the ability to hit throws under pressure? You better believe it. Now let's not get ahead of ourselves. As exciting as Ewers has been, let's remember who he's faced. Two of the worst defenses in the entire NFL. The Buccaneers' D has been bottom tier since week 8, and the Bengals, dead last. So while Quinn has undoubtedly made some big-time throws, like that 23-yard strike to Dulcich, flat-footed with pressure in his face, we've got to stay grounded. The arm talent is clear, and the confidence is palpable, but it's too early to declare him the next franchise quarterback without hesitation. Still, the Dolphins rallied behind him. They played with heart and unity, especially without Aaron Brewer, the league's top center this season. Andrew Meyer made his NFL debut, and the offensive line held up well against the Tampa Bay defensive front that isn't exactly soft. That says something. This team hasn't checked out. They're still fighting, still pushing, and Quinn is at the center of that surge. What this does mean for sure is that Ewers has locked up a roster spot in 2026. There's no way around it. He's earned that. As a backup, at minimum, he's shown he's more than capable. We've all seen what bad backup QB play looks like in Miami and across the league. Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle, Riley Leonard, the list goes on. Ewers is not that. He's competent, poised, and most importantly, not turning the ball over. That alone puts him in the valuable asset category for the Dolphins moving forward. But should the team be married to him as the starter in 2026? Absolutely not. All options have to be on the table. Whether it's bringing in a veteran bridge QB, drafting a mid-round talent like Garrett Nussmeier, Taylon Green, or Drew Aller, or even trading for someone proven, this team cannot afford to be locked in too early. This upcoming offseason could very well be a gap year strategy where Quinn competes, maybe starts, but isn't guaranteed the keys long-term. And honestly, that's the smartest way to go. Let the competition decide. Let the best player rise. Which brings us to another firestorm topic, Mike McDaniel. That win against the Bucs may have saved his job, or did it? There's a divide in the fan base and among analysts, and I'm right there in the middle. It's hard to say definitively that one win locks him in for 2026, because even in victory, some of the same haunting trends continued. Miami only scored 3 points in the second half. Once again, the third quarter was a ghost town for this offense. Sure, they didn't get destroyed like they did against the Steelers or Bengals, but it was still an anemic effort post-halftime. And that's where McDaniel's entire resume gets called into question. He's supposed to be the offensive mastermind, the schematic genius, the play caller. But consistently, the Dolphins under his watch collapse in second halves, especially against good teams. If it weren't for the defense stepping up big, Ashton Davis, Bradley Chubb, Anthony Weaver's unit clamping down, this could have been another late-game meltdown. Imagine if Devon Achane hadn't secured that onside kick. Imagine if Tampa had recovered and stolen the game. We'd be screaming for McDaniel's job right now. Look, the truth is, the Dolphins have gone from 1-6 to 7-9 mostly by beating teams that are, frankly, not playoff caliber. The only real wins against teams outside the current top 10 draft slots are the Bucs and the Bills, both at home. So yeah, progress, but not the kind that gets you to a Super Bowl. And isn't that the standard we're all chasing? Mike McDaniel may be great at building a competitive team that wins 7 or 8 games a season. But can he take us to the promised land? Can you really picture confetti falling on his shoulders while hoisting the Lombardi Trophy? Be honest, does he look like the head coach to finally snap our 25-year playoff win drought? I just don't see it. And I'm not alone. Because here's the thing, if you believe that Quinn Ewers can lead this team into the future, you also have to believe that Mike McDaniel is the coach who can develop him. And that's where the debate gets even trickier. Because even though McDaniel's offensive scheme should work perfectly for a young quarterback like Ewers, built around RPOs, quick reads, play-action bootlegs, the truth is that the execution consistently falls apart when it matters most, especially in the second halves of games. Let's take Sunday's win over Tampa Bay as a case study. The Dolphins came out swinging. Quinn looked sharp, the run game had rhythm, and the play calling flowed. But then, right on schedule, the offense sputtered after halftime. 3 points, fewer than 100 yards. That's not just a fluke, that's a pattern. It happened against the Steelers. It happened against the Bengals. It happened against the Chargers. So even when the Dolphins win, we're left with that same question. Why can't this team close out games offensively? And that matters. Because come January, if this team is ever going to be taken seriously, it has to be able to execute in the second half, when it counts most. McDaniel's inability to make effective adjustments after halftime is costing this team real momentum. And yes, credit where it's due, the defense is playing inspired football. That strip sack, that late interception, they saved this game. But if the offense continues to stagnate after halftime, that isn't sustainable. You can't depend on your defense to save you every week in the postseason. You just can't. So what's the plan? Do the Dolphins go all in with this current regime, Mike McDaniel, Quinn Ewers, maybe even keep the offensive core mostly intact, and give it one more shot? That's a dangerous game to play. Because if it fails, you're not just talking about another disappointing season. You're talking about wasting the prime years of your stars, wasting another draft class, and potentially digging a deeper hole for whoever takes over in 2027. Or do you rip the Band-Aid off now? Start fresh with a new GM, a new head coach, and maybe even a new rookie quarterback competing with Ewers. That kind of reset is painful, but it might be what's needed to finally break through the ceiling this franchise keeps hitting its head against. One way or another, change is coming. The only question is how aggressive this organization is willing to be. Does owner Stephen Ross want stability, even if it's capped at 8 or 9 wins a year? Or does he want to swing big, take risks, and try to build a team that can actually win in January? Because here's the reality, Quinn Ewers has potential, no doubt. His arm talent is legit. His poise for a 7th-round rookie is remarkable. But the coaching he receives over the next year will make or break his development. If the staff around him can't teach him how to process faster, slide protections, and execute in crunch time, then it won't matter how many throws he can make off his back foot. And if McDaniel's offense keeps collapsing in second halves, it doesn't matter if Quinn throws 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. This team isn't going anywhere when it matters most. So yeah, this win felt good. The vibes were strong in the locker room. The team is still fighting. That's admirable. But don't let that distract you from the bigger picture. The Dolphins have to decide what they want to be in 2026 and beyond. A team that scrapes together wins over bottom-tier competition? Or a team that finally steps up and competes with the big boys in the AFC? And for that to happen, they'll need a head coach who doesn't just game plan well, but one who can adjust, who can outcoach the opponent at halftime, and who can put a young quarterback like Quinn in a position to succeed in the most critical moments. That's where the true test lies. Not in Week 17 wins over a 7-9 Bucs team, but in January, in tight games, against playoff teams, when everything's on the line. So Dolphins fans, let's get real for a second. If you had to make the call right now, would you keep Mike McDaniel as the head coach for 2026? Or would you start fresh with a new regime and potentially a new quarterback battle? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Smash that like button if you're riding with this team no matter what. And check out the videos on your screen now for more deep dives into what's next for the Miami Dolphins. Go Dolphins, we can still make it to the Super Bowl.